What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue working on the radiator and fans for the GTO. We'll also take a look at how that evaporust worked on the top of the fan motors. If you were watching the last video, you would have seen that. Before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to another YouTube channel, and that is Dirt Floor Fab. He has a channel similar to ours. He's just starting out. He has around 500 subscribers. He has a Valiant that he's building an LS with a turbo, and a Regal, and a Volkswagen. It's a bunch of cool cars, a 55 Chevy he's going to get started on soon. So definitely go check out his channel. He supports SPPTV, comes to our live streams and stuff. So yeah, definitely check him out. Let's get him to at least 1,000 so he'll start making some money. And I don't think you guys will regret it because he's a pretty cool guy and a cool channel. So check it out for sure. All right, let's get to it. Alright, so in the last video I had put some of this evaporust gel on the top of these fan motors here. So as you can see, this one I just sanded a little bit. This one actually came out pretty good. There wasn't a ton of rust in there. This one seems a little worse, but it was also a lot rustier before. But you can still see there's some spots here, but I kind of scraped some of this paint off. The evaporust won't really take paint off. So if the rust is kind of under the paint, it's not really going to take it off. But I think it worked out pretty good. I'm going to go over it with a little sandpaper, clean it up, give them a little paint job, and they'll be good. So what I'm doing now is kind of have the fans where I want them. The depth here, this area. I got Clayton to make me these little spacers here at work. He gave me some material. I was going to cut them myself, just this aluminum bar stock like this. And then I decided to let him do it because, you know, he has fancy machines at work, and if I cut them, they'll end up being a little crooked. Plus, for some reason, these are all kind of like slightly different sizes. So he was able to measure them and cut them to exact, and tap and thread them for the bolts. So what I'm going to do here is get everything lined up. I'm going to tack them on, hopefully, with the TIG, and then I'll take the fans off and then weld them. Hopefully it goes okay. I definitely don't want to burn a hole through the radiator because that's brand new and I don't want to ruin it, obviously. So yeah, so I'm gonna set up the welder and get to tacking these on. All right, so I got them tacked on. So now they're in the position they need to be in. There, and then two over there. So now I'm just gonna weld them. I'm not gonna necessarily weld them all the way around, probably just at 4 points so that they'll stay on there. Like I said, I don't want to put too much heat into the radiator tanks. Also, when I did it, I had the fans on, obviously, like I showed. I was hoping to be able to like just, you know, tack it, but the TIG welding, especially with the aluminum, gets pretty hot. So these two actually like melted right to the things, and I had to use a cutoff wheel to loosen them up because I didn't want to like break them off of the radiator tank. So, but it worked out okay. I got them off. So now I'll just have to weld them, and then that'll be ready to bolt on, and that should be all good. All right, so I got them all welded on. There they are. 1, 2, and then the other two on the other side. Also all welded on. So I think that turned out actually pretty good. I'll make a nice kind of a factory style bolting. Let's see if I can grab the fans here. Hopefully they still fit now. Oh, of course I have to clean those holes up a little bit. But it looks like we're right on the money. So that's perfect. So now I'll pretty much bolt on like factory. Like I said, these fans are pretty nice. They got built-in relays and then a nice built-in plug so I can run it. Of course, it's supposed to run in these holes, but I think I'm going to have to cut this out a little bit for the upper hose here. Give it a little bit of clearance, which I'll probably do shortly, and then find some short bolts to put in here. Okay, I actually decided to take the fans all apart. So I have this one electric motor out here. As you can see, they're pretty dirty. This one too. I'm gonna take it all out so that I can clean all this, clean the plastic, a wire brush on here. I'll be able to clean them up a bunch, give them a paint job, then bolt them back in. Kind of get this all refreshed up. So like I said, I unbolted the electric motor. There's 3 bolts. The fan comes off. If you're taking these off, if you're doing a set of these, this is a reverse thread, so it goes the opposite way. So don't strip it. So So yeah, so I'm just gonna clean this on the wire brush, and then I'll show you how that looks, and we'll get these painted up and all this stuff cleaned up. I got both electric motors out, cleaned up. Now I'm just gonna shoot them with a coat of paint, some Duplicolor semi-gloss, and we'll see how they turn out. Okay, so I'll give you guys a little tip here if you don't know this. When you need to make a bolt that's shorter, like these ones, if you just take a bolt and put a nut on it, like this, to the length you want, and then cut it with a cutoff wheel, like this, then you'll be able to like remove it, and it'll pull any of the like messed up little threads off. So that, because usually sometimes if you cut a bolt, then the threads on the end will be kind of screwed up and you won't be able to get the nut on. But this way it kind of makes sure that that happens. You can kind of, once you cut this off, you can grind it flush. Then when you pull it off, you know, there's a little bit of crap on here, you can clean up with the wire brush. Just a little tip. Just waiting for those fans to dry. I've got the first coat of paint on. I'll probably put another light coat on and let them dry, and they'll be good, and then I'll assemble all this stuff. There's the electric motors. They turned out good. I gave the whole fan assembly a quick coat of paint, clean it up a bit. I also section this a little bit to give hose clearance, because it was close right here. And then I took the wiring harness off, retaped it all up nice. Obviously I'm gonna have to wire it here, but I got this part all nicely cleaned up and taped up. I mean, it probably would have been better looks wise to buy a brand new fan, but these were cheap, they'll work, and I think they should look all right once they're cleaned up. So I'm just gonna wait for all this stuff to dry and then put it back together. All right, so there it is. All back on, all cleaned and painted up, looks really good. There you can see how it bolts on both sides. Yeah, so it's nice and sturdy. I'll throw it back in the car and we'll see how everything looks all together. I got it all bolted in, and so now you can see everything looks all together. There, so it's all bolted up, nice and sturdy, and I think that looks really nice in there. The aluminum piece that I made, the upper hose clears no problem here, where I had to modify it, and then like the wires go here, and then I'll just run them into the car from there. Yeah, so all in all, I think that turned out pretty good. Obviously these kind of fans could be mounted on any kind of car pretty much. I know they're popular with S10 V8 swaps. Like I said, it worked good for me. I mean, of course you need a TIG welder to weld onto the aluminum, but originally I was just gonna make some little brackets that went off of here to here. And I actually, you can see here, I actually drilled a hole because I did make a little L bracket that bolted here, and that would have worked, but I think this looks a lot cleaner like this. So so that's why I went with that. So yeah, I guess we'll have to start doing something else. I had some extra Christmas lights, so I decided to put them up in the shop here, make the live streams more Christmassy. And I decided to clean up there first because I'm going to try to put them up on the cabinets. And when I built the shop, I put these all these plastic cases with plastic models that I build inside. Just look at how dirty these are. But I bet you inside, yeah, cars are clean like new. So those cases definitely work good to keep the dirt out. You guys remember this Rick Doberdin Pro Street J2000 from back in the day? There's a 61 Impala. I actually build lots of models, or I used to. I haven't as much as I used to, but I still do. Mostly in the winter time I build them. If anybody's interested, I could post some videos or post something with some of the other ones I have in there. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I figured I'd clean up and get these Christmas lights up before I do anything else. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so you can see I put those lights up. Super exciting, I know, but I don't know. It's what I'm doing right now, so I thought I'd show you guys. Just for Christmas, you know. But I'm gonna go in now. We'll continue this tomorrow. We'll get into doing some more work. And so we'll see you in the morning. I almost forgot. Before I go in the house, I thought I'd show you something else that I've been doing. So I have this evaporust stuff. And I had these hood hinges. They're actually for my Jimmy, like for a square body pickup or Blazer Jimmy. And they're chrome, but I got them from the junkyard. If you can see, they're pretty rusty, pretty surface rusty. So I've been soaking them in here for a couple days, and take a look. I mean, yeah, there's chrome peeled off, but look how it took all the rust off. Like of course, on the back side is where it looks the nicest, right? Like right here. And there was quite a bit of surface rust on there. I mean, you can see by the top how much rust there was. So, I don't know. I figured maybe I could save them and put them on the Jimmy, but the ones on the Jimmy are a little, they don't work so great. Like the hood doesn't close properly. So that's why I got these originally. I figured I'd try the evaporust, and so far it's working pretty good. I'm gonna flip that one over so that the other side is soaking, and then we'll see how it turns out. And then I still have to do the other one too. So maybe if they turn out half decent, I can, like, I don't know, clear coat them or something, keep them from rusting, or just clean them up really good and then put them on the truck and see what happens. All right, so it's the next day, and I've taken that hinge out of the evaporust. So here you can see how it looks now. By comparison, this is the other one. This is what it, pretty much they both looked about the same. This one, I don't know. This one almost looked like maybe it was worse, but I'm not sure. This side, which is the side that I guess you'd see when the hood was open, actually is pretty nice. Chrome's actually pretty good on it. Like you can tell on this one, it's not quite as bad on the outside part. And then here's the springs, which are pretty rusty. I don't know if those will actually be savable or not. But what I'm going to do is dunk them in the evaporust and put this other hinge in there, and then we'll see. We'll let this one soak. But I think this one's nice enough. Like I said, especially when you open the hood, this is the part you're going to see on the outside of the truck, and then on the inside you can see this part, which, like I said, actually looks pretty good. You know, other than you can see where it was peeling, but I think they're not bad considering I got them for next to nothing from the junkyard. I also thought I'd show you. Pulled down the part that goes on the hood of the GTO, this the ram air cover, which holds the ducting which goes down to the air cleaner here, and then there's flaps in here. When you start it, these flaps close, and then when you floor it, they open up. All that stuff works good. I just threw this on because it was actually up in the rafters, and I thought, oh, I'll clean it up and put it in the house. And then I decided to just throw it on because I hadn't seen it on there for quite a while. But I'm out in the garage doing some stuff like this, but I'm not really doing too much today. I'm waiting for those hood hinges to come in, which should be here tomorrow. So once they come in tomorrow, hopefully Mike or Clayton or someone can come. We can pull the hood off, put those new hood hinges on. And then once the new hood hinge is on, I can align the hood good to all this stuff. And then once that's done, I'm going to start doing the rest of the body work and stuff. So we'll continue this tomorrow when the hood hinges come in, and we'll get those put on. The stuff came in from Summit, the hood hinges, and a couple other things that I ordered for the S10. So let's take a look at them. Here are the hood hinges. They look pretty good. Someone was saying in the comments that these things are cheaply made or thin steel or something, but I don't know. I took a look at them, and to me they look pretty good. I guess we can compare them to the old ones once we take them off. Could even measure the thickness of the steel to see if it's the same. But so far so good. They look pretty nice. So that's one, obviously. The other one is exactly the same, just the other side. Like I said, they look pretty good quality to me. I also got ordered this stuff for the S10, which obviously is not a priority at the moment, but because I had used the mic shift cable out of the Sonic Stang, I ordered myself a brand new one. And I also ordered all the brackets for a 4L80E because, first of all, I'm using Mike's bracket right now, which is different. And plus, I made a bracket that goes onto the shifter part of the transmission. So I actually ordered the proper bracketry. So I'm hoping with the proper brackets and this new cable that the shifter, the stock Camaro shifter I have in there, will actually work really nice, because it kind of feels tight right now, like it doesn't quite shift properly. But yeah, so I got that stuff and the hinges, and I'll show you guys something else. I don't know if I mentioned it, but these hood hinges are actually from Goodmark. I bought them from Summit, but they're from Goodmark, and they're actually for this particular year, obviously, and everything. So I thought I'd show you something else here. So if you take a look at this hood hinge right here, which is the side that gives me the issue, you can tell that it's actually bent here and here. It's pushed out. If you compare it to the other side, you can see how much straighter this one is. I noticed that when I was comparing with the new ones. So I'm assuming that's why the hood doesn't close properly. And since we've owned this car, the hood has never closed properly. So I'm assuming that that's the bad hinge. So like I had said before, I probably could have just bought the one and kept this one, but might as well change them both. They're not that expensive. And so yeah, I'm just waiting for Clayton and Mike to come over, and then we're gonna pull the hood off, pull off the old hinges, put the new hinges on, and try to get everything adjusted up and get the hood fitting properly. All right, so Mike's here. We're gonna get this hood off. Putting that air cleaner thing on was a bad idea because that just makes it heavy. Okay, got it. This hood weighs a ton. Oh, okay.
Can we put it on?
Yeah, don't worry about those rubber things. They just, if anything, they'll just fall off.
I meant the fancy part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fine. Like it's squishing one of those rubbers.
Oh, yeah.
That's all good. Okay, now. That's one. So if you compare these two, you can see how bent it is. See? Yeah. Like this is pushed way out. Like this
Oh
is,
yeah,
you
that
know what
part
I mean?
especially, yeah.
Yeah. That's the issue right there. Once you get the old hinges off, you just have to get rid of the spring. This makes Mike run across the garage. He's pretty scared that it's going to explode in his face.
Springs are no joke, guys. Garage door springs, valve springs, they'll take your eye out.
See? Simple.
Rob could have lost a finger there.
Simple as that.
I bet all of you are thinking like me, wow, he's holding it, it's going to crush his fingers. Right?
That's just Mike thinks that.
Worst case Ontario Mike.
Yeah. Did they make a tool for this? Like, is there a special tool?
A spreader?
Yeah, some kind of spreader for spreading. See, it's different. Like, taking it off is one thing, but now I think you just done this 100 times, but yet when I'm thinking of it, then I can't think maybe like what I'm concerned about here. Of course, I'm putting them on, and I'm gonna take these off again anyways. See what I'm concerned about. You know what? I'm gonna put them on the car first, because I know I've done this before, and to put the springs on and stuff, it's easier if it's on the car. So we'll get them on there first. Okay. So after doing a little figuring, trying to remember how I did it before, I figured it out. I got that one on already. So I think these are both the same.
Yeah, they are.
So that's just okay. So you put it in the bottom here. Oh no, that's weird. So you just put it there and then grab it. Too much? Oh, I just went past the hole. Whew. Those are tight. I think that these springs are heavier, like a thicker spring, because the hood is so heavy. Kind of what I'm assuming anyways. But the weird thing is that before I took these apart, the other ones apart, there was actually another spring on the inside, a smaller spring in the middle. Like, these springs are pretty heavy. Does it really need another spring on the inside? All right, so they're on. Now we'll put the hood back on. Actually, that way is pretty good. It's a little on the high side. Okay, so because it's high, we have to bring down this part. both the bottom part of the hinge and the top here has adjustment. So you can move the hood forward and back, and these can go up and down. So far it's the exact same way it was before. So maybe I gotta bring the front up a little bit, maybe? 'Cause they're both high now. They both need to come. Other than that, we got it pretty good.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we.
I think the front has to come. I think everything has to come down.
Well, not down. The back is down. Probably.
I think the front has to come down too.
No, I think the front has to go up a bit, maybe. Because I think the front is all.
Because your pivot point is the other bolt, so lifting the front up is only going to lift the whole hinge higher.
Lift it a bit. I want to try it. Because it can't go up.
Lift it up.
It can't go down more. Okay. Oh, that's too much. Right there. It can't go down anymore. It is down all the way.
In the front it was?
Yeah.
No. That's not better. That side's a little better. This side's pretty close.
Yeah. So why is this side still high? It's not as bad. It's not bad like it was.
Well, this will bring the front down a little more on this side.
Up more.
Or up, yeah.
It's a little high here, but I think that's the hood. Like maybe it's got a little bit, you know what I mean? Because here it's actually a little low. Here it's good, but then here in the middle,
That's from years of
Oh,
that vehicle.
yeah. It's probably got a little bit of a bend in it, but that fits way better. Let's give her another try. It feels really nice, like when you open it. Like it.
Yes, smooth. Holy fuck.
I told you it's heavy.
I mean, it
Slap
is
my
just
wood.
it is just a car
No
out
more.
there, right?
See, someone in the comments the other day said that something about not showing enough of the actual work that we were doing. So now you're getting all of it. I mean, usually adjusting stuff like hoods and doors and all that, you know, it takes a while. You got to really play around with it. Ready? Yeah. I knew that. I should have marked the hood, you know, because it should be basically the same. Fender has to go maybe in a little bit because the gap's really nice here, and then as it gets up there, it gets a little bit wider. So I'll have to play with that a little bit too, because this one is actually really nice. That one's a little off.
Didn't you have this one pretty nice before?
I think so, and then I adjusted some stuff for some reason.
Oh.
Yeah, so then I probably have to go in a little bit there. Have to play around with it a little bit more. But that's a lot better than it was. It definitely closes now. Like this is good here now. In terms of the, like I said, oh, I see now it's actually even a little better. Where I said it was high, it still looks a little high, like right in this part here, but I can just smooth it a little more.
You go left a little bit too, right?
Huh?
Can you go left a little bit?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think that's more. The fender has to go in a little bit at the back. They're bringing in a tiny bit, and then the door will have to come in a tiny bit too. Which could be why. I thought one of the gaps was a little wide at the door. But cool. I'm happy with that. A little extra playing around, and we'll be good.
I'm trying to get the live stream going, guys. That's why I'm on my phone. So check it out every Wednesday. I thought Rod turned the GoPro off there for a second, but
I did
yeah,
not.
every Wednesday around 8 p.m. It's 8:22 now, so
Or Thursday
around 8
mornings
p.m.
if you're from
Yeah, if you're from around the world. Or
Yeah,
would it be
sorry.
Thursday or would it be Tuesday?
no,
The
they're
next day, I think.
Thursday morning.
Yeah,
Fuck,
it's Thursday.
Unless
In Australia, it's already Thursday.
the globe started spinning the other way.
So we're living in the past.
Exactly, they're in the future. All right, guys.
My toilet's flushed everywhere.
Apparently, some people say that that's not true. Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys says that doesn't happen.
That's south of the equator.
Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Next time, we'll start getting into some body work on this thing, and who knows what else we're going to get doing. So stay tuned.
Smell you later.
Check you later.